Hello everyone.
Today we are going to see about JavaScript objects. My name is Anthony and I am from Loyola College. Okay, let's begin. So, objects. As we know from the chapter data types, there are 8 data types in JavaScript. Some of them are called primitive because their values contain only single thing. It can be a number, string, whatever it may be. In contrast, objects are used to store key collection of various data on more complex entities. In JavaScript, objects penetrate most every aspect of the language, so we must understand them first before going in depth anywhere else. An object can be created with figure brackets with an optional list of properties. A property is a key value pair where key is a string also called as property name and value can be anything. We can imagine an object as a cabinet with signed files. Every piece of data is stored within file by the key. It is easy to find a file by its name or add remove a file. Objects are also used to store key collections of various data on more complex entities. What are objects? Objects are also a variables too, but objects can contain many values. The values are written as names, value pairs. For example, in the given example, the variable person is equal to first name, John, last name, Doe, age 50, eye color blue. For example, if we take the data type, we can only write name, string, number, etc. But it has uniquely we have to write. But as of in as we see in objects, we can combinedly write everything. Syntax of object is given below. User is equal to, in the given example, user is equal to figure bracket. Usually figure bracket are used, the declaration is called an object reference. A property has a key also known as name or identifier before the colon and value to write of it. In user object there are two properties. The first property has the name and the value. The second one has the name and the value. In the given example, the first one is name that is given as John and the second one has age that is given as value 30. So both the strings and numbers are used here. This is where the objects are used. In other words, objects in JavaScript, just as in many other programming languages, can be compared to objects in real life. The concept of object is JavaScript can be understood in real life, tangible objects. In JavaScript, an object is standalone entity with properties and type. Compare it with a cup, for example. A cup is an object with properties. A cup has a color, a design, a weight, material it has made of, etc. The same way, JavaScript objects can have properties which define their characters. This is where the object is used. A JavaScript object has properties associated with it. A property of an object can be explained as a variable that is attached to the object. Object properties are basically the same as ordinary JavaScript variables, except for the attachment to the objects. The properties of an object define the characteristics of the object. You access the properties of an object with a simple dot notation. Like all JavaScript variables, both the object name and property name are case sensitive. You can define a property by assigning a value for it. Next is object copying references. As you know, the assignment operator doesn't create a copy of an object, it only assigns a reference to it. For example, one of the fundamental differences of an object versus primitive is that they are stored and copied by reference. If you see in image, message is equal to hello and phrase is equal to message. The phrase is referred for the message, but it is not copied. The primitive values, strings, number, booleans are assigned or copied as a old value, but not as an object. The object has a new method different from the main object prototype method, which is not what we want. We want the exact copy of the original object. Property descriptors are not copied. A writable descriptor with value set to false will be true in the object copy. The code above only copies enumerable properties of main object. If one of the properties in the original object is an object itself, then it will be shared between the copy and the original, making their respective properties point to the same object. User is equal to name in the object given John. When an object variable is copied, the reference is copied, the object is not duplicated. So user is equal to name John and administrator is referred as user. If you see the image, you will see that the only one object is created, but the admin and user are sharing the object there. Here the admin is reference of the object address user and not it is copied. So we can't copy the object. So this is what about today's topic, objects, and see you in the next section. Thank you all.